Imagine standing in the middle of a battlefield, not the kind with swords and shields, but the one inside your own life. The air is heavy, the dust hasn't settled, and every muscle in your body aches from the blows you've taken. You feel the sting of loss, the weight of disappointment, the sharp edge of failure pressing against your chest. In that moment, the easiest thing in the world would be to collapse and curse the sky for the hand you've been dealt. But here's the truth. Complaints never healed a wound, never rebuilt a home, never brought back the strength you lost. Complaints are like pouring water into sand. All your energy seeps away, leaving you emptier than before. I once met a man who had lost everything in a single year. His business collapsed, his marriage ended, and a car accident left him with a limp that would never heal. For months, he did what most of us would do. He raged, he questioned, he pointed his finger at everyone and everything that had wronged him. But one day, as he sat alone in the small apartment he could barely afford, he noticed something. The more he complained, the smaller his world became. Friends stopped calling, opportunities stopped showing up, and even his body seemed weaker. It wasn't until he decided to stop speaking against his circumstances and start working with them that things began to change. He turned his limp into a reason to train harder, opened a small workshop instead of chasing his old business model, and found peace in the quiet work of rebuilding. He told me, the moment I stopped telling the world how bad it was, I started to see how good it could become. Pain is not your enemy. It is your instructor. It points you toward the parts of yourself that are untrained, untested, or unprepared. It strips you bare so you can see what's real, what's necessary, and what you've been carrying that you no longer need. A broken bone, once healed, becomes stronger at the break. A broken spirit, if rebuilt with discipline and purpose, becomes unshakable. The battlefield of pain is not where you're meant to die, it's where you're meant to train. The quiet hours of rebuilding are sacred. They are the moments the world doesn't see, the ones without applause or recognition. This is where you gather your tools, sharpen your mind, and prepare your spirit for the next challenge. It's not glamorous, but it's where every real victory begins. The athlete doesn't win the medal on the track. They win it in the countless mornings of training when no one is watching. The same is true for you. Your next triumph will be born in the silence of your preparation. When you stop complaining, you free up the energy to create. You start seeing possibilities instead of problems, paths instead of walls. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with this? That shift is everything. It turns pain from a weight into a weapon, from a chain into a key. You begin to see that joy is not something you wait for at the end of the struggle. It's something you choose in the middle of it. Smiling while the storm rages isn't foolishness. It's a declaration that the storm will not own you. So when your next trial comes, and it will stand tall, don't curse the fire, walk into it and let it burn away what you no longer need. Don't waste breath on words that drain you. Use that breath to build, to plan, to fight. Because one day you will look back on this chapter not with bitterness, but with pride, knowing it was the moment you stopped complaining, embraced your pain, and rebuilt yourself into someone unbreakable. Pain often arrives uninvited, like a shadow that stretches across the path you thought was clear. It's easy to label it as bad, as something to get rid of, but what most people fail to see is that pain is rarely meaningless. It's a signal, sometimes subtle, sometimes deafening, that something in your life, your habits, your mindset, or even your surroundings needs to change. Think about the way your body reacts to injury. The ache in a twisted ankle isn't there to punish you. It's a warning to stop, to rest, to let healing happen before more damage is done. Emotional and mental pain work the same way. When you feel that tightness in your chest after a betrayal, that restlessness in a job that drains you, or that hollowness after failing at something you gave your all to, it's not the universe conspiring against you. It's your own life trying to speak to you. The problem is that most of us try to silence that voice. We distract ourselves, numb ourselves, drown the discomfort in noise, entertainment, or anger. But every time we push pain away without listening to it, we miss the lesson it carries. Pain is a teacher that never uses polite words. It uses fire, weight, and pressure to get your attention. If you resist, the fire grows hotter, the weight gets heavier, the pressure increases. It's only when you turn toward it and ask, "What are you here to show me?" that its real value is revealed. History is full of people who understood this truth. Athletes push their muscles to the edge of tearing because they know the rebuilding process makes them stronger. Blacksmiths heat metal until it's soft enough to shape, knowing the fire is what makes the blade sharper and more resilient. In life, your pain is that heat, that strain, that pressure. Without it, there's no reshaping, no refining, no strengthening. What makes pain feel unbearable is not always its intensity, but our resistance to it. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack. The more you struggle against it, the more awkward and exhausting it becomes. But when you adjust your stance, find your balance, and accept its weight, you learn to carry it with less strain. Pain works in the same way. Acceptance doesn't mean you like it or want it. It means you stop wasting your strength fighting reality and start investing that strength in learning, adapting, and growing. So when pain arrives, don't ask how quickly you can get rid of it. Ask what it's pointing to, what needs attention, what needs to be broken down so it can be rebuilt. That's how it stops being a curse and starts becoming a compass. And once you start seeing pain that way, you'll realize it was never here to destroy you. It was here to prepare you. There's a moment in every fight where the opponent seems too strong, the blows too heavy, and the ground beneath you feels like it's slipping away. This is where most people give in, not because they've lost all strength, but because they've decided the battle isn't worth continuing. That decision is the quiet death of potential. The truth is, life's hardships are not optional, they are part of the terrain. Complaining about them is like a soldier cursing the rain on the battlefield. It won't stop the storm, but it will steal his focus and drain his resolve. When you accept the terrain instead of fighting against it, something powerful happens. Your energy shifts from wishing things were different to working with what is. You stop seeing obstacles as unfair punishments and start viewing them as conditions to adapt to. The warrior's strength comes from this adaptability. They don't waste breath on "why me?" because every second spent questioning fate is a second not spent sharpening their sword. Think of the mountaineer facing a sudden snowstorm halfway up the climb. They can curse the sky, throw their gear down and turn back, or they can dig their boots deeper into the ice, find new footholds and keep moving. The mountain doesn't care about your frustration. It will not shrink to make your climb easier. Life is the same. It doesn't bend for our comfort. It tests our will to rise. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means accepting reality as the starting point for action. It's the mindset shift from victim to strategist. A victim asks for mercy from the storm. A strategist studies the storm's patterns and uses them to navigate forward. You can't control the winds, but you can adjust your sails. And when you stop complaining, something unexpected happens. You become lighter. The mental load of frustration, blame, and self-pity is heavier than most physical burdens. Letting it go frees up strength you didn't even realize you had. That freed energy is what fuels endurance. That's how warriors outlast the storm. They don't spend themselves on battles they can't win. They channel everything into battles they can. So the next time life throws you into the middle of a fight you didn't choose, stand firm. Accept the blows, study the field, and adapt your stance. Every challenge you meet without complaint is a victory in itself, because you've proven that circumstances don't decide your fate. You do. And that is the first step to turning survival into triumph. When life has stripped you down, taken the comfort you once leaned on, and left you standing in the ruins of what you thought was secure, the rebuilding phase begins. This stage is often misunderstood. It's not a time for quick fixes or desperate shortcuts. It's a time for deliberate, patient, and often unseen work. Think of a craftsman restoring an ancient sword. He doesn't rush the process because every strike, every polish, every adjustment matters. The quality of the final blade depends entirely on the care given in these hidden hours. Your life works the same way. In these moments of starting over, there is no audience, no applause, no instant reward. And that's the beauty of it. This is where you find out who you really are without the noise of other people's opinions. When the lights are off and no one is watching, you can experiment, fail, adjust, and try again without the fear of public judgment. It's in these private battles that the foundation of your future is laid. The rebuilding phase also forces you to face your weaknesses. When things are going well, it's easy to hide them, to skate over the cracks. But when everything falls apart, those cracks are exposed. You have a choice: patch them temporarily and risk another collapse, or rebuild with stronger materials this time. Better habits, sharper discipline, deeper self-awareness. That's why this stage is sacred. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Think about the athlete recovering from a serious injury. They don't leap straight back into competition. They start with slow, controlled movements, strengthening the muscles, regaining balance, and building endurance. Every repetition in that quiet gym is a step toward coming back stronger than before. The same applies to rebuilding your life. Every small improvement, waking up earlier, choosing better company, learning a new skill, becomes a brick in the new structure you're creating. But this phase demands respect. Rushing it is like planting seeds and then digging them up every day to check if they've grown. You have to give your work time to take root. You have to trust that consistent, intentional effort will yield results, even if you can't see them yet. That's what separates those who stay broken from those who rise. Patience, discipline, and a refusal to quit just because progress feels slow. One day, the results of this rebuilding will be visible to everyone. They'll see the strength, the confidence, the wisdom you've gained, but they won't know the countless quiet nights you spent laying the groundwork. Only you will know, and that knowledge, that understanding of what it took to rebuild yourself, will make you unstoppable. Pain, when left unused, becomes a weight that drags you deeper into despair. But when you decide to harness it, it transforms into fuel, a force that pushes you beyond limits you didn't even know you had. Every sleepless night, every setback, every disappointment can either break you or build you, depending on how you choose to respond. The choice is not in avoiding pain, because you can't, but in deciding whether it will make you bitter or make you stronger. Turning pain into power begins with perception. Most people see hardship only as a thief, something that robs them of comfort, stability, or joy. But hidden within every hardship is a lesson, and within every lesson is an opportunity to grow. The mind that looks for this opportunity begins to shift. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" it asks, "What can I learn from this, and how can I use it?" That single shift changes everything. Think of a blacksmith hammering steel. Each strike is violent. Each blow shapes the metal under intense heat. If the steel could speak, it might cry out, wondering why it's being hit so mercilessly. But without that force, it would remain a dull, unshaped lump. In the same way, life's blows are molding you. The heat is uncomfortable, the hammering is relentless, but with each strike, you're becoming sharper, stronger, and more purposeful. Turning pain into power also means channeling emotion into action. Anger can fuel determination, sadness can deepen empathy, fear can sharpen awareness. None of these feelings are inherently bad. They only become destructive when left to stagnate. A warrior understands this and uses every emotion as raw energy, directing it toward the fight rather than letting it erode their will. And the more you use pain as fuel, the more it changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who suffers and start seeing yourself as someone who endures, overcomes, and transforms. You begin to notice that situations that once terrified you now barely shake you. The very experiences that once threatened to crush you become the foundation of your confidence. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. At first, using pain as fuel feels unnatural, even exhausting. But with time, it becomes instinct. You face challenges differently, not with dread, but with readiness. You understand that each difficulty carries within it the tools you need for your own advancement. And with that understanding, you stop running from pain and start running toward growth. When you master this, life no longer has the same power to intimidate you. You realize that no matter what it throws your way, you can take it, mold it, and turn it into strength. That's when pain stops being something you fear and starts being something you welcome. Finding joy in the midst of struggle is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about recognizing that life is more than the hardship you're facing. A warrior learns that waiting until the storm passes to feel alive is a waste of precious time. If you can only smile when everything is easy, your happiness will always be at the mercy of circumstances. Real strength is in being able to laugh, to feel gratitude, to enjoy moments of light even while the darkness surrounds you. Joy in hard times is a choice, and it's a skill. It comes from focusing on what remains rather than what's been lost. When a soldier on the battlefield shares a joke with his comrades in the middle of chaos, it's not because the danger has vanished. It's because they understand that these moments of connection and lightness keep the spirit unbroken. In life, you can do the same. That cup of coffee in the quiet morning, a conversation with someone you trust, or even the act of completing a small task, well, these are victories worth savoring, no matter how small they seem. Finding joy also changes how you handle pain. When you allow yourself to smile in adversity, you take away the power of fear and despair to control you. Struggle becomes less about survival and more about growth. It's not denial, it's defiance. You're declaring, I am more than what's happening to me. That attitude is contagious too. People around you will feel it, and it can give them the courage to face their own battles. This joy doesn't erase the difficulty, but it makes you more capable of carrying it. Think of a traveler crossing a long, exhausting road. If they spend the entire journey staring at their aching feet, every step feels heavier. But if they lift their head and notice the scenery, hear the birds, feel the breeze, the distance doesn't seem as crushing. The road is the same, but their experience of it has changed. Cultivating joy in struggle also builds resilience. When you allow light into dark moments, you train your mind to keep looking for possibilities instead of shutting down. You become more creative in finding solutions because you're not blinded by hopelessness. This is why some people rise after devastating setbacks. They have learned to keep their spirit alive no matter what's happening outside them. So when the storm rages, don't just grit your teeth and wait for it to end. Look for the sparks of life that are still there. Laugh when you can, be grateful for what you have, and create moments that remind you why the fight is worth it. That's how you keep walking forward, not as a victim of your circumstances, but as a warrior who refuses to surrender their joy. When the dust settles and you look back on the trials you've endured, it won't be the complaints or the self-pity that define your story. It will be the moments you stood firm, the choices you made to turn struggle into strength. Pain came to you not as a punishment, but as a signal, a teacher, a forge. You met it without wasting your breath on blame. You accepted the terrain instead of cursing it. And in the sacred quiet of rebuilding, you shaped yourself into something stronger than before. You learned to use every blow as fuel, transforming wounds into weapons, weakness into wisdom. And perhaps most importantly, you refused to let hardship steal your joy. You understood that the fight is not just about survival. It's about living fully, even in the middle of the storm. That choice kept your spirit alive, kept your eyes open, and kept your heart ready for the next challenge. This is the truth you carry forward. Life will not always be kind, but it will always be shaping you. Complaints change nothing. Action changes everything. You have the power to rebuild, to rise, to turn even your darkest seasons into the foundation of your greatest victories. The warrior's path is not about avoiding pain, it's about mastering it, until every trial becomes another step toward the person you were meant to become. Walk forward knowing you've been tempered by fire. The world hasn't broken you. It has built you. And now, nothing can stop you.